r/advice is one of Reddit's most popular subreddits. It of course is a place where you can ask your questions, whether they are standard or strange, with the gift of anonymity. The subreddit boasts 3.4 million weekly visitors, and of course some people are bound to ask things that are weirder than usual. Around 7 months ago, Reddit user Kiwi Kikwi posted on r/advice asking what to do about a strange little girl in their neighborhood.
There's a little girl that's terrorizing my apartment. This is a very bizarre situation that I have never been in before. Sorry for the dramatic title, but it's becoming an actual issue now. For the last month, it feels like 90% of the time I go outside to my car, an 8-year-old girl and her dog appear and try to interact with me. Sounds cute, right? That's what I thought, until I realized it wasn't.
New from Debunk File. Feeling nostalgic? Grab these totally tubular tees from 1900-shop.fourthwall.com today. We have something for everyone. Tees, hoodies, hats, stickers, you name it, Debunk File has it. We just introduced a new wicked design. Front and back so everyone knows your style is the bomb from every angle. You can get that and our original designs as sweaters for all you cold weather lovers out there. If you're tired of looking like a square, trust us, we care. Visit 1900-shop.fourthwall.com today. Stay for a while, it's Debunk File.
The first time she came up to me, she ran from across the parking lot and said, "I think my dog likes you." I thought it was kind of sweet, until she got a little too close for comfort, started repeating that same line over and over and giggling very loudly, almost manically. She wouldn't leave me alone until I physically walked away. She even followed me to the apartment door, talking non-stop. I brushed it off at first, thinking maybe she's neurodivergent. No judgment, I have ADHD and probably more. I didn't think much of it until it became a daily thing. I work from home and go outside a few times a day for breaks. Yes, I smoke, working on quitting. She's always out there with her dog, not a parent in sight. I started noticing red flags when her mood began flipping between happiness and sudden anger. She hits her dog a lot. She'll scream, "Quiet, quiet, quiet," and punch her dog with each word. I've seen her drag the dog while it's pooping, so it has to walk while going, and the dog cries. It is awful to witness. She runs up to anyone outside, delivery drivers, residents, other dog owners, and repeats, "I think my dog likes you," over and over until they respond. If someone has a dog, she'll walk up to them too closely, while their dogs are barking aggressively. I've seen multiple residents literally pick up their pets and speed walk away from her. People have started cracking the exit door and scanning for her before they step outside. There's construction happening next door, and she just hangs out with the workers. They ignore her now, but she'll bring them offerings of handfuls of grass or her dog. It's honestly surreal. When I'm outside and have to smoke, I now drive to a spot off the property just to get personal space. If I stay near my car, she'll follow me and stand right in front of it, waving at me in a pageant style, fingers pressed together wave. I don't even make eye contact. She'll just do it for like 30 seconds, just smiling. If I drive into the parking lot, she sometimes chases my car to where I park. Last week, I was sitting in my car listening to music and didn't notice her. When I looked up, she jumped up from a crouch, face pressed to my driver's side window. I felt like I had a heart attack, but also pretended not to see her because what the f***. She's out at all hours. Last night it was 9 PM and dark. She was alone with the dog. Today it was 12:30 PM on a Thursday. Shouldn't she be in school? I don't know what's going on. I have never dealt with something like this before. It's gone from weird to uncomfortable to genuinely worrying. It feels unsafe for the dog, and definitely even for her. I'm worried she could walk up to a weirdo and something bad could happen, or she could cause a dog fight and her and the dogs could get seriously injured. Is there someone I should call? How do I report this kind of situation without escalating it unnecessarily? I don't want to overstep, but this just feels wrong.
On the surface, it's a really creepy story and reminds me of Betty from the Tranquility Lane section of Fallout 3. That part always creeped me out. Of course, looking deeper, it's a heart-crushing scenario if it's the truth. The OP has given some updates and responded to multiple comments. They mentioned how they called the local police, the Department of Human Services, and Child Protective Services. They said they were able to video the girl for proof to give to the authorities. It's a tough situation because anything like this could be fake. However, in an instance like this, asking for proof is impossible. The OP would be part of the problem if they themselves took pictures of a minor and uploaded them to Reddit without anyone's consent. The OP even mentioned how they had some real creeps asking for the location of the little girl in their DMs. As of writing, there are no updates on this case of the little girl terrorizing an apartment complex. This is definitely something to keep an eye on. If it's true, the OP did the right thing. If not, it's just another spooky story. One of my personal favorite subreddits has got to be r/deep into YouTube. The locals of this subreddit love finding unknown videos from the depths of YouTube, and as someone whose entire life revolves around the platform, seeing old school creepy videos and shitposts is always a blast. A lot of the time, people find some truly strange channels/videos like this one posted by Borgies. The title of this post is simple. Dude has over 700 videos with the same title, all silent. The OP was not kidding. This channel, Jacob Wild, has a massive catalog of the same video over and over and over again, all titled Neighbors Above. They're extremely basic, just a guy sitting in his apartment silently smoking a cigarette. Occasionally he'll look up in annoyance, presumably at his upstairs neighbors. It seems strange at first, but after skimming through a few of the uploads, there's nothing creepy going on at all. It's definitely an oddity on YouTube, but there are plenty of channels that are weirder than this. The only question I and the subreddit have is, why? What is the point of all these videos? And I think this comment from Limeboy on the initial post sums it up perfectly. Dude is just collecting the magnum opus of complaints. 700 examples will hopefully be enough, just in time for the upstairs neighbors to move out anyway. I think this is most definitely the case here. Every single video is documenting the obnoxious noises his neighbors make, and you can hear loud banging in several of the uploads. It's highly likely that yes, this guy is just saving all of this proof to one day show to the community that he lives in. As of writing this, the oldest video documenting the neighbors above is 8 months old, and the most recent was 2 days ago on October 17th. I doubt this is something that will end in a big explanation, but I hope that one day he's able to set his pesky neighbors straight, if that's really what's going on here. For this next post, I will issue a warning. If you are sensitive to gore, real or fake, skip ahead to the next post. This post comes from r/whatisIt, a simple sub where people can post anything and ask, well, what is it? A little under a month ago from writing, the OP Call Me Whatever 1994 posted this with the title, "My friend found this at our thrift store." Of course, finding this, an extremely human-looking mask at a thrift store, is downright terrifying. The caption underneath it reads, "We live in a super small valley, 3 towns like 1,800 people each maybe, and we put it on our local page to ask who donated it. No one has admitted to it yet. Some comments said death mask, etc. Any ideas?" Of course, the comments were ablaze. This mask just looks so real. Nobody even knew what to think. I don't even know what to think. I'm not a coroner or a taxidermist or anything of the sort, so my guess is genuinely as good as yours. I wish I was able to find some sort of sign that proves this is genuine or fake. The OP was able to post even more pictures of it, including the inside of the mask. Luckily in their search, somebody did reach out claiming to have another one, and yep, lo and behold, there's images of a second mask. The person who reached out told the OP that they dug it out of the dumpster from the thrift store, which is so strange. They compared the masks, and of course they are sister pieces, they look almost identical. Something gross someone pointed out is the stitching here on the back. It seems like it could add some truth to these things being the faces of actual human beings. The OP could not get any more lucky as yet another person reached out during their inquiry about the masks. They said, "I donated it. It's one of two. I thought it was time to release them. They are masks of my brother-in-law who is an artist and his husband. My brother-in-law made the masks. They have both passed away. His brother-in-law was the LA County coroner for many years. Unfortunately, the masks were separated just due to the way they were packed when I made my donation." I think we were expecting a lot more of a definitive answer. I know I was. This could be anything, and the comment doesn't explain what the context of the masks are either. One answer leads to 1,000 extra questions. The last update the OP made was another screenshot from the same commenter. Both men were named Douglas. The one shown by Carrie is my brother-in-law. The Dougs would love to know that they made such a stir in the valley. I do wish they stayed together, but this is spreading the magic around. We got some information about the people involved, namely their names being Doug, but that's really about it. The comments were still screaming at the OP to find some more information because this is not at all a closed case. One commenter mentioned that not a single Doug was found as a coroner in LA. It's possible Doug worked for the precinct, but not as acting coroner. I'm really not sure here. As of right now, that's all the information we have. Who knows what will come of this? It's something we definitely will revisit if any more information comes to light. What do you guys think? Is this some kind of macabre art project, or something a lot more twisted? We've covered a lot of weird notes in previous episodes of Reddit deep dives, and this one from the subreddit r/weird joins the list. Posted by Philip Italian 1997, it reads, "Somebody left a stack of ones in my tip jar. This note was hidden between the bills." The note itself, of course, is fittingly weird, repeating the phrase, "You aren't going to prison" 19 times. Most commenters were making jokes about how this OP has a bunch of get-out-of-jail-free cards, or that the OP is definitely going to prison. There isn't really too much of a mystery to solve here, unfortunately, it's just very strange. Multiple comments pointed out that it could be some form of anxiety coping or OCD. A lot of people who suffer from anxiety disorders usually have some form of mantra coping, and prison paranoia is a very real fear that anxious people suffer from. It's possible the note is just a way for the person to calm down, similar to the grounding method, or just the repetition of a phrase to come back to reality. I'm 99% sure that there is nothing malicious here, just a strange note that ended up in the wrong tip jar. This next post comes from the ever-popular r/AskReddit subreddit. The OP simply asked, "Who's the scariest person you've met?" Before I share the top comment on this post, I want to share my personal scariest person encounter. So, Jiff and I are big fans of getting out, touching grass, visiting comic stores, thrift stores, theme parks, etc. On these adventures, we always seem to meet the strangest folks. One early morning on our way to Disney World, we stopped at Dunkin' Donuts. There were 4 of us in that group, and as we were ordering, this really weird guy just walked in. He was dressed in a work uniform and made strange noises that resembled the Penguin from Batman Returns. He leaned his head on the hanging menu and was just being an overall nuisance. He then proceeded to ask if we'd ever seen a dead body before, and then started banging his head on the menu. Nothing happened after that, but the Penguin was truly the strangest fellow we have ever encountered on a day out.
Editor's note: Yeah, that's not true at all. What really happened was, Sep bolted out of the Dunkin' right after he got his food and left me with the guy as he kept banging his head on the menu.
Anyways, back to the post at hand. The top comment on this post is truly bone-chilling. When I was a kid, we lived on a lake, and there was a lakefront owners meeting every year. It was a few houses down from ours. The children were brought and we would eat a lot of appetizers, color some, hang out in a certain area with a babysitter, but as we all arrived, we were expected to say hello to the adults. One year, there was a new owner on the lake. The lake was pretty small, so there were maybe 15 owners at the meeting. I remember being very creeped out by the new owner. He just had a bad vibe. I remember as we walked home after my brother and I told my mom we didn't like him. Cut to 6 years later, my family had moved away to a different part of the state and we were watching the news and realized the helicopter footage was of our lake. The police had identified and arrested the Green River Killer that terrorized Western Washington in the 80s and 90s. Eventually, the image as Gary Ridgway came up and my blood ran cold. That was the owner I didn't like, and that's how I met the most prolific serial killer in the US to this point. Of course, it's impossible to determine whether or not the OP is lying, but who knows? I've heard countless stories of people knowing serial killers before knowing their crimes, and it has to be one of the most frightening things to ever experience. The man or woman that you knew, lived close to, worked with, were friends with, turned out to be a heartless monster. It's enough to keep me up at night. For our next post, we are returning once more to r/deep into YouTube. This guy found a YouTuber who has no videos, but has been rating the taste of scented candles in broken English on his community tab for over a year at this point. The photos are insane, he's hoarding so much stuff in the background. When visiting the channel, sure enough, it's true. The channel's name is just LPC, and as we can see, there are no videos here. There are an assortment of playlists, but of course, the community posts are what are noteworthy here. Honestly, the description of the Reddit post does not do this channel justice at all. As you keep scrolling, there are so many creations just like this. If anything, they only get more complex. Some of these are honestly just fascinating to look at. There's a type of symmetry to this all, and it just begs the question, where did he get this many matching electronics from? Something that also becomes more noticeable the more you scroll these posts are his descriptions, which don't seem to make much sense. Lots of these descriptions seem to mention tastes, aftertastes, and textures. One of them says, "This is why Simon Cowell telepathy cannot brainwash me." The sheer amount of different structures and patterns created here is kinda shocking. It took me a long time to scroll down to the bottom. There are hundreds of different posts. But when I got back to the beginning, this seems to have only begun about 2 years ago. The patterns in these older posts are much smaller in scale, but give us a tiny hint as to this person's possible living conditions. Even in these old posts, there seems to be quite a bit of comments. Lots of them speak similar to how the poster does. It almost looks like an in-joke that I have no context for. A few of these early posts are text only with no references to his structures at all. These posts are borderline incomprehensible and makes me wonder if this is just a mentally ill person who happened to have found an audience. This would be far from the first time that has happened. It's completely unclear as to what the true story behind this creator is, but they, at the very least, seem to be a hoarder. Even outside of the insane pattern of matching electronics, many of these posts are full of sour cream packets, glove boxes, planters, containers, and so much more. There's even an image that shows a bunch of Blockbuster membership cards, as well as what appears to be a bunch of old phones, suggesting that this hoarding might have been going on for a really long time. These images just beg so many questions about this poster that we don't have the answer for. We still don't even know if he is actually tasting these candles or not, as none of the images actually show anything like that. This is definitely one of those channels that blurs the line between a possible joke or something more serious. LPC actually does reply to comments quite often, but as we can see, we aren't going to learn much through them. For now, LPC will remain as one of the true oddest discoveries that I have seen deep into YouTube. For our final post of the night, we're going to visit r/weird, where another incredibly strange note awaits us. In 2013, I moved into my very first house. One day after moving in, I received this letter addressed to me by name. To this day, it still makes me laugh, but I have absolutely no idea who sent it. Chicken. Chicken, 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 chicken. I can't even imagine how I would react to this if this actually happened to me. I think the way it's so professionally formatted is what makes it so damn funny. As I scrolled through the comments, I definitely did not expect this. Finally, a chance to use my best images. You have no idea how long I've had this saved. Apparently, this is actually an old copy pasta that originates from 2007 from a software engineer at Google named Doug Zonker.
Here is Doug. Chicken.
The paper can be viewed online in full quality, and the only conclusion I can think to make here is chicken. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, make sure to actually like the video and subscribe to see what we put out next. If you want to keep up with us in between videos, make sure to check out our official Instagram and Blue Sky account. They are both linked in the description below. Make sure to stop by our Discord. It truly is the best place to chat with us and other debunk enthusiasts. If you really love what we put out, make sure to check out our Patreon Debunk Plus. It's only $1 a month and it grants you full access to everything on there. Supporters get script PDFs, videos early, and other random stuff we decide to put up, and more. As always, my name is Sep from Debunk File. See you guys next time. Bye.